John Lennon died in 1980. Exactly, 1980.
Yeah, so I was negative
Yeah.
several years old.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Canaries is still available for a few more days as the time this releases on Kickstarter. We're going to talk about it. I backed it today
Thank
of
you.
the day of recording. I did get you did send me the PDF, so I did get a little taste of what I'm getting. I'm like, I was like, no, I'm going to support this.
Thank you. I
And get
appreciate that.
and get all those signatures too.
Heck yeah.
Add them to my. It's also like I am planning on like getting every single book that I've covered on the podcast. I want to have signed copies of every book that I cover on the podcast in my collection at some point. And because Canaries is supporting Scares They Care,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get a good fair share of those books at Scares They Care at AuthorCon. So I see the word curator. You're the curator of
so
Canaries.
I'm curator and I'm one of the 13 authors because
Right.
I like to shove myself into things too.
You're batting leadoff. You're the first story, the first chapter of the story.
Yeah.
What does curator mean?
Uh, I conceptualize the project. I like lead the project. I make final edits, stuff like that. I'm not the editor. I make that very clear, but I make final edits. So I'm the one that says yes or no to the editor.
Okay, understood. Does that include like helping pick the other authors that you're bringing on board?
Yeah, so I picked all 12 other authors. They were all people that were nice enough to say yes to my crazy ass idea.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's one of like part of my question is like it is. I like Exquisite Corpse. I don't know the origin of it, but I know that the broad idea of like, you know, artists sharing a canvas and then extending that into like a story is quite old. But this is your third of these, right?
Yeah, so this is my third of these. The first one was Zombacon, and the second one was They Use the Eyes to See. It actually, fun little tidbit. My one author in this one, Amanda Headley, just sent me a picture of Exquisite Corpse in a museum that was detailing the origin of Exquisite Corpse, and it was found in the 1920s, sorry, in the 1920s as a surrealist painting method.
The modernists of that time, I think, for if I remember my college, which was many years ago now. But this is your third one, so you must enjoy it to keep doing it, right?
I enjoy it. I'm also a glutton for punishment. It takes years off my life. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, this literally is like smoking a pack a day with the stress that it gives you, but it's so much fun and so rewarding at the end of the day.
I think you in our DMs, you're like, yeah, it's been my life for 8 months.
Yes.
And now it's and like that's the books. I mean, it's just hit Kickstarter now, so you still have work after that,
Yeah,
right?
we
Yeah.
still have 3 chapters to go after Amanda finishes hers, which will be soon, so technically 4 chapters. Um, the final 4 chapters and the Kickstarter, so I'll still be working on this well into, like, February, March, and then sending it off to Candace to edit, Candace Nola, who's the editor.
I was gonna say is I this all of this is so fascinating to me. Like this idea of like of passing stories back and forth and trying to corral it into a shape and to Kickstarter it, like do all this stuff is like it like when you say it's like smoking a pack, I get it. Like it seems like so much work. So you wrote the first chapter of this.
Yeah.
Right. Was there any thought in your mind And like it's good. I read what you sent me. I really enjoyed it, and
Thank
I enough to back it.
thank you. I
Um,
appreciate that.
but what as you're starting it off, right? You're choosing a broad direction at least for the story. Are you is that literally you're like, hey, I'm gonna start with this cast of characters. Here's the setting. Here's the inciting incident, and then go. Is there any guidance for the next author? Is it just do what you do?
So there's some level of guidance just to make like consistency. Things like you can't retcon things that already happened and stuff like that. But honestly, it's pretty free reign, especially in the first few chapters. It's like, here, take this chapter, build from it. And then like with the subsequent like final leg of the chapters, I do give like some metric of like, hey, it would be cool if you went in this direction, but do what you want with it past that.
Because I we did a little bit of a I was at a panel at a convention recently, and we did the hey let's all start a story and we do a scene and then pass it to the next person. It immediately fell apart. It immediately like it wasn't even. It took no time. Like literally 3 people in the story, we are immediately like, when you're like, oh, don't retcon things, we immediately had to because the story was going off the rails immediately. So it is there is it a part of it just trusting that these authors can kind of keep the story on the rails? Is there like some amount of editorial guidance along the way, or is it just no, oh, they handed in their chapter and they're good?
So a lot of it is trusting the authors. There is like things that I recommend. Like I'll get a chapter and I'll be like, hey, can you change this part? I don't think that's gonna flow well into a subsequent chapter and stuff like that. Um, but sometimes, like for example, Jamie Flanagan was the second person to go. Their chapter I didn't change at all. Like out the gate, I was like maybe a few typos that I changed, and that was it. Obviously, once it goes to Candace, it might change a little bit, but I didn't change anything with that one. And then like on a previous Exquisite Corpse, or no, on this one as well. Jeremy McGrory, he accidentally wrote his chapter in the wrong tense. So I had to be like, hey, can you fix this? Can you put this in the right tense? Stuff like that. But for the most part, like the authors have been doing really good at maintaining consistency themselves. They haven't needed much guidance. It's been like very small things like, can you tweak this? I think it's out of character type things.
I mean, it that's what really struck me. It was like I knowing that it's an exquisite corpse, I immediately go, oh, it's gonna. I don't know. I go in expecting kind of like big drastic shifts in tone and voice because it is herding cats. There's 13 different people,
Oh yeah.
and our voice and everyone's writing voice is generally going to be like, and like you can tell, like there is obviously still stylistic differences in between the chapters, and you can hear their different voices from the different authors, but the story does still feel cohesive. And like I was like, wow, this makes sense. Which I mean, it's a low bar, I think, for like for a normal book, but for a story written by a bunch of different people all in a row, it's actually I think quite an achievement.
Yeah, it's definitely a thin tightrope to walk where you have to be like, you want them to talk in their own style. You don't want the like sense of someone's voice, but you also want those voices to be cohesive with each other.
Yeah, I mean, was is that part of the thought process of who you're recruiting, or is that just like, oh, these people are cool, they're good writers, they're welcome aboard? Is that is which
It was
is
a
there?
little bit of both.
Okay,
I definitely tried to pick people that were like similar, and I also I did like my research in the authors, and I was I asked people where they wanted to go, but I also kind of pushed them in certain directions on which, like, if you're in towards the end or if you're in the middle or something like that. Um, Trying to think of like a good example, like Jay Bauer is good with character deaths. So I was like, well, let's put you somewhere where there can be a character death. So let's put you somewhere like near the middle where there can be like a good character death for you.
Escalate tension. Oh
Yeah.
no. Oh no, the monster is real. Yeah, it killed someone real bad way. Um, I also just love I don't know. I love coal mines I love mines as settings.
Yeah, it's a cool
There's
aesthetic.
they're so evocative, and like I'm really glad that they brought in the strike breakers and union stuff. Like it's such an essential thing about coal mining in the US, and I'm really glad the story starts using that stuff.
That was
uh,
mostly Eden Fenn's idea, like
yeah.
to bring that in, and she's fantastic. I had never heard of her before doing it. She was actually a recommendation. But her chapter is absolutely fantastic, and like her writing is really great, and she's come up with some great ideas that like because we have a group chat where we throw ideas out, and she's thrown in some like great ideas. I was like, wow, that's impressive. I'm glad I have you on board.
I have a book that I'm trying to get published. Is there's a coal mine. There's coal mining in it, so it felt like even it was appropriate that I'm reading this right now. Um, so the you've done it 3 times now. Is there going to be a fourth? Is there going to be a fifth? Do you plan on stopping this? Is it just you find it so much fun you can't?
I my partner makes fun of me because I always tell him, I'm like, "I'm never doing this again. This is too much stress. I'm never doing this again." And then we hit that ending part, and I'm like, "Well, now I need to do it again." It's like crack. I need to I need to participate in this again. I need to like work with new set of people.
It's a,
So
is
I
it,
don't
it
know.
it's a oh, so we'll cross that bridge when
Yeah,
we come to
so
it.
it's I'm at the point right now where I'm like, maybe not, but I keep hitting that point, keep going, "Yeah, let's do it again." So
I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair answer. Like, oh well, so far I've done it 3 times,
I will say
and
I love the charity aspect of it.
yeah,
The last one they used the Eyes to See was able to raise over $700 for, scares already, and that one, I do the first year as well as the Kickstarter raising, and we're not even done with the first year yet, so it could raise more. I push it at conventions and stuff.
yeah.
So I love that aspect. I'm trying to hit 1,000 with this one. I think that would be a cool thing to donate 1,000 in total.
I mean, hey, y'all listening, everyone out there, go buy it, go buy it, go support it. Like even if you've got, even by the time you listen to this, it'll be out. Like go get a copy even after the Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah, I push
Go,
them at conventions too.
yeah, go get a copy. It goes to charity. Go help people. It's a great story as well. Really enjoyed it. Um, so I think this is more of a it's not a creative question, I guess, really, but it is really interesting to me. The choice to go to quick Kickstarter for it, was that driven just by like uh it's one, why Kickstarter versus the other platforms, like I'm not up on all of them. I don't know if Indiegogo is still a thing or not, but any of those etc platforms, or other, like I know there's more bespoke like written word platforms too. Why Kickstarter? And have you've gone back to it for multiple times, so I assume it's worked out well for you.
So I don't have like too interesting of an answer to that. It's
Okay.
honestly, I chose Kickstarter because it was the biggest name of them. And when I was researching into it, it was like pros and cons of all of them. And Kickstarter was like biggest reach and stuff like that. And I was like, well, that helps.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I just returned to it because I knew the platform, so I didn't have to learn an entirely new platform.
You've had a good experience with it.
I've had good experience with it. Yeah, the first two have both been successfully funded and have raised about 1,800 each. Um, which goes to like the authors, and then goes to the production, and then goes whatever's left goes to scares. So
Yeah, I mean, I've pondered that, like not even with not even an anthology. I'm just like, what if I would like I what like I see other authors do it sometimes where they're like, oh well, I have this amount of books that are ready basically, and they use Kickstarter almost as like a pre-order, like, and if like, oh, if there's stretch goals, I'll do extra stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, I can't imagine, I don't know if I have the my own platform to like drive enough people to a Kickstarter to raise the money, but it always, I'm always curious about it. I'm like, how on earth? And like, I know I follow you on Instagram, so I see all the posts about all the extra stuff, like,
Obsessive posting.
yeah. I mean, you have to,
Yes,
do it. It's
unfortunately.
and especially with a Kickstarter because it's a limited. You have a month, right? So you have to drive people to it as much as you can, and I'm gonna try and help.
Thank you.
Um, and I have been trying to. The problem is seeing things on social media. God forbid I see the things that people I follow post. That's all I ask.
You gotta love modern social media.
I just I follow someone because I want to see the things they post. I don't. Okay, sorry. Sorry, this is not. You didn't do that. What was I? I had one other thing I was going to ask you before we move on to the next segment. Well, okay. Why did you choose it to begin with? Well, that all the way back at the beginning of this, was that just a grand experiment, or was it like, did you see that thought that did someone pitch it to you?
So it started off way back in the day. I learned about the concept through my poetry instructor. I was taking poetry classes under the poet laureate of York, and she brought up the concept of Exquisite Corpse to me, and it just kind of stuck in the back of my mind for some reason. And I guess 3 years ago now, I had the concept after my first AuthorCon. I was like, I have all these authors that I know now. I would love to collaborate with a few of them. Let's just throw out a post and being like, hey, if I get certain amount of these people, I'll try to make this a thing. And back then, it originally wasn't planned to be a charity anthology. It was just planned to be like a for fun little thing. Which it still is. It's still like a for fun project more than anything, but it's like now it supports charity as well. Um, but honestly, I was just really high and I had an idea and I threw it out there. And I woke up in the next morning and 13 people, or I mean 12 people messaged me and were like, "Hey, I'm on board." And I was like, "Well, damn, now I have to make this a thing."
I have to cash a check in my mouth rope. I find it really fascinating. And I really enjoyed it. I think that's the thing I want to really put out there for people listening, is that it is like just a fun thought experiment, but the story is like really compelling. And I really did enjoy the story, and seeing just these different writers bounce off of each other. And like, I don't know. I think a lot of it is just because I write and I know if I put myself in those shoes, I'm like, this would be impossible for me. I might lose my mind. Like, but I can't imagine you being you have to corral all that. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was gonna ask you. The writers get what, any amount of time to write their chapter, and then we pass it on. Is there time limits and all that stuff, deadlines? I
So
assume
it
there has to be.
originally was each author gets 3 weeks to write their chapter with an extra week if needed. Um, but honestly, I had people submit like back to back basically. Like Jamie did their chapter in 3 hours,
Like,
and then Besu did his chapter in 2 days. And I was like, okay, I guess you're not taking the 3 weeks. So we were so far ahead of schedule that now I'm just like, take as much time as you want. Like we were so far ahead of the schedule, we didn't even have a like time limit to begin with. It was just kind of a like thing to have. So I'm like, yeah.
I can't. That, and you didn't touch that man, that writing that without Jamie's chapter in 3 hours is really crazy to me.
It's insane. And it's like one of the best things I've read in a while. And I was like, how?
It really, like, I don't know. It does set. I mean, like that's the part where like I'm really impressed by because your chapter starts us off with like this really exciting and kind of terrifying and harrowing like inciting incident, and then immediately we get this really like heartbreaking backstory that connects that fills out everything in a single chapter from JB. Really impressive.
Yeah, it's insane the level of quality that, like, people have come to me with. Like, I'm so blessed to be able to work with the people that I've worked with. It's insane. Like, not just this one, all of them, the past 2, everybody was just, like, putting their full gun forward into it. It's incredible.
I mean, it's really good. I know some of these people. I know some people I only we're social media friends, or but it's all like incredible. Like you can look down the list of all the 3 books, and you're like, just Murderers Row, just incredible, bunch of incredible writers from back to back to back to back to back. Canaries, there'll be a link in the show notes for the Kickstarter. You still have a few days for it. Now it's time to move on
All right.
to the second act, which is broader bookish questions, writing questions, and sometimes not writing questions, depending on who asked. Because at the end of the segment, I'm going to ask you for a question for our next guest.
Oh, okay, cool.
So have that brewing in the back. You have a little bit of time. But first, I have to start with a question from my last guest, Daniel Brom. And his question might be the oddest question I've gotten so far. I've had a string of them recently, so it's like I tell people any kind of question you want. Doesn't have to be a book or writing question if you don't want it to be. So his question for you. We might have to do a Wikipedia deep dive if you don't have the answer, which I don't know if you do. It's fine. So brace yourself. Does the name Tom Carvel have any meaning for you? And if so, what is it?
Tom Carvel. I do not off the top of my head.
No, Tom Carvel. That's what I expected.
I can bust out my phone real quick.
No. I have it.
No.
I have the Wikipedia of Tom Carvel ready to go. It's right here. Tom Carvel is famous for Carvel ice cream. That is okay. Carvel ice cream is from Tom Carvel. And Tom Carvel began selling ice cream out of a truck in 1929. And the reason, and like, Carvel is most famous for soft serve ice cream and really popularized soft serve ice cream. Before Carvel, soft serve ice cream wasn't called soft serve, and it really wasn't as much of a thing as it is now.
Yeah, so definitely a hero.
Definitely a hero. I mean, he's definitely like that. He's like a Ray Kroc McDonald's type businessman. Like, I'm gonna make, he had dozens and dozens of ice cream stores, invented a bunch of brand names of ice cream and stuff like that, sold refrigerators of his own. Carvel still exists. You can still go to Carvel and get to ice creams in certain places in the country. Most famously in mostly the Northeast, or in I guess in Florida too, because we have Carvels. But basically didn't invent soft serve, but did popularize soft serve ice cream. So that is our ice cream lesson for the day.
I like it.
Okay. Good.
I didn't realize I'd be learning on this podcast.
I mean, this is what happens when I leave a little bit up to guests. And some of our guests do write. Daniel Brom writes weird fiction, so he's going to ask a weird question about ice cream. So now a bookish question for you. And this is a question I ask everybody. Who is a writer more people should be reading?
There's so many.
You can name as many as you'd like.
I love Cassandra Celia. We're best friends. I think their writing is incredible. They were part of my Exquisite Corpse in the last one, so I have experience writing with them. So I know that they have like really good quality and really good time frames as well, which is really impressive. Bailey Elizabeth, I always recommend to people. She actually got me back into reading.
Wow. Okay.
Um, with her book Pain, which is still sitting at like 50 reviews on Goodreads. Like it's a very like smaller name book, but I adore it. I think it's a really crazy concept. Um, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's
It sounds so familiar, and I think that's I see so many books that sometimes they imprint like like a baby bird, but then I move on immediately because I'm like, oh, there's a book, there's a book, there's a book.
it's like
I'm gonna have links to all this stuff in the show notes too if I can.
it's like parallel dimension druggy. Like
Okay.
you take a drug, you get into a parallel dimension, and then she witnesses her own murder in that dimension.
Oh my god.
And has to figure out what the murder is in her dimension, which without going too deep into it, it's a crazy experience. Um,
It sounds great.
and Dorian Sinnott, I love Dorian. They're incredible. Dan Franklin, I mean, he already gets a decent bit of attention, but I love Dan. He's an incredible writer. What are some like unknown people? I'm having trouble thinking of people that are like really like. I'm gonna look on my bookshelf real quick. It's
I
right
was gonna
beside
say
me.
you can do that.
um, oh, Sonny Hatton. Sonny Hatton's great.
Okay.
Um, their book "Everyone Is a Moon." I'm looking at it right now. It's crazy. It's got a cool cover too. So if you're into book covers, like to display on your shelf, the cover's crazy looking. Mary San Giovanni, of course, again, like not like a underground person, but Enemy of My Enemy is crazy.
That's a good list.
Yeah,
I mean, and I say this all the time. People answer that question in lots of different ways. And sometimes people list very well-known authors, but that doesn't mean there's people that are very famous that I've never read.
that's fair.
And sometimes it takes someone going, well, no, actually, they're really good. You should read them. It's going to make you a better writer, and you'll really have a good time with the book. What is a practice that helps keep your writing momentum going?
My practice, it sounds counterintuitive, but a practice that helps me keep my writing momentum going is actually switching mediums occasionally.
Okay.
Um, like I haven't touched a traditional like paper word to page writing in probably about a month now. But I'm learning game design. So I'm writing scripts for games, uh, and like writing dialogue and stuff like that. And that's been my writing outlet recently, and that's been like reinvigorating me. Occasionally I'll get into like back in the photography, and then I'll write a story based off a photo I take. Stuff like that. Just swapping mediums. It's really helpful.
You're not the first person to say that. I think it subtly changes how your brain
Yeah, it's always like
moves.
I don't like being stagnant. Being stagnant is like the worst thing you can be as a creative.
Yeah. Um, let's see. What was your gateway horror medium? What was the first thing you TV show, movie, book, it could be anything.
I've talked about this before, but it's always Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park was my
Yeah.
gateway into like anything like I know Jurassic Park, it's argued if it's horror, thriller, or whatever. It's in my opinion, it's horror, the book at least. It sets it up like a horror like story, so
I mean the prologue
oh yeah, the
is
prologue's crazy.
I mean, it's what someone gets eaten by a dinosaur. Like it's not. It's and like it's a reason they started the movie like that because it's so captivating and it is terrifying. It's just and it is. I would say it's the same thing people talk. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that Spielberg directed both the movies, but people talk about that with Jaws too.
Oh
Is
yeah.
it horror? Is it not? I'm like, there's some pretty gosh dang scary stuff in there.
Yeah, my grandfather, who passed away semi recently, I account all my horror fanatics to him. Um, he was because we only had one TV growing up, and it was in the living room, and he was always at the TV because he was like out of work most of my childhood. Um, and not it due to no fault of his own. He had like health problems, but he would be in front of the TV and we'd watch what he wanted to watch, which was always like schlocky sci-fi horror movies. So that's what really got me into the genre was like these like low budget like here's a like giant snake in the woods that's hunting you down and killing you type thing, or like here's a volcano that's shooting out bats or something random like that.
Speaking my language. I like a good volcano that shoots out bats. I'm gonna write that down. That's a good idea.
There you go.
No one has written that book. I'm gonna write the volcano that shoots out bats, but I'm trying to think of a pun immediately off the top of my head. But I'm sure if I could come up with one if I could. This is a question I haven't asked a lot of people yet. So, how do you come up with character names, and do character names change throughout your drafts?
So I'll answer the second question first. Character names change constantly throughout my draft. I normally start with really generic names. Sometimes I'll even pick names of friends just to have a name on the page,
Right.
and then I'll come back and change it later, which actually screwed me over in one of my books. Because I had a character named Kat, and I changed their name to Emily, and I didn't notice that in one spot there was talking about a picture of a cat.
Oh no.
It got published with the name Emily
Oh
in
no.
place of the picture of the cat, and that made an awkward segment.
It's
Um,
fixed now, right?
yeah, it's fixed now,
It's
but
fine.
it
You're fine.
it wasn't at first.
Eh, things
Um,
happen.
but the purpose of character names for me, I've always struggled with them. Um, like, uh my one book has character names that are all based off, like, video games, like, old video games.
I was about to say that I didn't ask you any questions about Borderlands, but I did read it, and I would immediately like Chrono Trigger. I love Chrono Trigger,
Oh,
so I
yeah.
was like immediately like, okay, I get having characters named after Chrono Trigger. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
this is for Robbie,
that was easy for me because that was, like, reference names,
right?
but usually I just kinda pick a name that I like the sound of, honestly. Um, there's not, like, too much thought that goes into it, like, Atlas and Moose and Sleeping Among Wolves are just named Atlas and Moose because that's names I liked.
I mean, I'm not too far different from you. I feel like a lot of people. I talk to other authors sometimes, and they're always like these. They have these very intricate reasons why they picked a name, and I'm always like, Mary. I picked Mary. I don't know. It's a common name. This person is not special. Like they're not, they're not supposed to be a special person. They're just kind of be an everyday person. Their name is Mary.
I'm sure a lot of people do have intricate reasons, but I would be lying if I said I did. Peek behind the curtain, it's just names I like.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fine. I guess I have a couple projects where the name is meaningful, but most of the time it's just like, no, that guy, I felt like he's a Tyler. Yeah. Like there's nothing else there. Was the last book you read that evoked a visceral physical reaction?
A visceral physical reaction.
Could be any. It could be like it made you sweat, made you like gave you goosebumps, made you shiver, shudder, cough, laugh.
um, I really my brain goes back to Enemy of My Enemy, which had like some I wouldn't say like because Mary's not like a gory writer, but it's like some scenes were just very unsettling, and it's like some stuff in it just like very much like ooh that's weird. Um, yeah, I guess that would be my answer for
Okay, it does it. That's a you decide, not me.
that.
um, what's the best piece of advice you followed?
The best piece of advice I follow, it's gonna sound super cheesy, but it's really just like one day you'll get to the point where you want to get to. And I'm not even at the point where I want to get to, but like I'm constantly working my way up to it. I guess like a tie-in advice would be like don't aim out there, aim like one step and then you can take each individual step up. Um, like when I was a kid, I wanted to be like a movie director, and I'm not a movie director, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Um, but if I had just aimed to be a movie director, then I wouldn't have achieved anything. But because I aimed to be uh like a poet, and then I aim to be a writer, and then I aim to be a published writer, and then I aim to be this and that and that. Not saying I'll ever build my way up to it, but there's a more of a chance than if I would have just like been like, oh, I'm not a movie director, I give up. You know?
Small steps.
Yeah, so take small steps. Like I work with some incredible people in the industry now, and like I know such incredible people, and it's like I would have never known these people if I had never taken these steps, you know?
Right. I mean, I've written a lot of books, and people come up to me and go, "How did you do so many?" I wrote one. I did one, and then I did another one, and another one, but I didn't do them all at once. It's
Oh yeah.
there. That's it's like that's the thing. Like it's very incremental things. You learn. I learned how to write a book. That was the first thing I did. I learned how to write a novel, and then I wrote a better one that I actually published. Um, let's see. What do we got? What is your grammar hot take,
Grammar hot take.
if you have one?
I still do not know when you use a semicolon and when you don't. I've tried. My editor Candace, I feel like hates me for not knowing, but I still do not know.
Oh, I'm here. I'm gonna give you. We're just give you. I'll give you a little golf clap because you at least have the courage and bravery to admit. Because I know there's people out there who are in the same boat, but they would never say it. They would never say that I don't know how to. I mean, I think honestly, as far as I know, you can kind of just throw it in there if you want to, and it's fine. As long as you don't use too many of them. I feel
I
like
know I
there's
had questions of it on the SAT, and the last time I remember learning anything about it was preparing for the SAT. So
okay. So this is okay. This is a follow up then. Do you reach for semicolons a lot? Do you use them in drafts?
I don't use them at all in drafts. And
Okay.
if Candace edits them in, then I go, okay, I guess that went there.
Okay. I never ever use a semicolon naturally. Ever. I will never use one. I don't like them. I don't know. I love an M dash and I love a comma. My god, I love a comma.
Same.
But oh my beloved. My beloved comma. But I've never used a semicolon, and I don't. I need to find someone. That might be. I'm gonna actually add that. While it's that's adding to the questions is gonna go. Do you use semicolons in drafts? Because I'm gonna find this person. I'm talking to authors every week. We're gonna find.
We're gonna find the one.
We're gonna track this person down who uses semicolons naturally, right? Like I like you said, I will add them after, like in a revisions, but never
First draft.
never first draft.
No.
No, no. Um. Okay. So, what is your question for our next guest?
My question for the next guest would be if you had to if you had to walk in an outside medium that wasn't like writing, which medium would you choose?
That's good. I like that. Let's break awkwardly while I write this down. All right. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. I like, and sometimes I steal these questions and I'll add them to my list.
Feel
And then,
free.
yeah, sometimes I mean, they're really good questions. Turns
Yeah,
out writers are really good at coming up with stuff. Turns out.
it turns out.
Turns out, yeah. All right. That's it for the second act. It is time for our final segment. It is time for blood. It's very dramatic. It's time for trouble, struggles. It could be with a work in progress, with something you've finished already, or it could be something that's not, mechanical. It could be philosophical. It could be something about ethos, whatever it would be. Do you have anything off the top of your head? Anything you'd like to talk about?
So off the top of my head, it's the second you mentioned struggles, I think of my current work in progress because oh my god. Um I'm writing a story, not Canaries, but my like solo work,
Right.
um called Behind the Eyes We Rot. Um
I love the title.
Thank you. I do too.
Yeah.
Right now it's about the only thing I love about it 'cause
Oh no.
it's pissing me off a lot.
What's the trouble?
So I sent it to Candace and I was like, "I'm struggling with this a little bit. Can you give me any advice?" And she basically said, "Hey, it needs a ground up reconstruction."
Oh no.
And I was like, "Oh, those are words I never wanted to hear."
How much do you have in it? How much is it done? Is it like first draft done? Is it partial?
I'd say the second draft is done.
Okay.
I'm obviously going to need at least a third. Um, but she because it's a non-linear time story, but it also jumps between two different characters.
Oh my
And she
gosh.
was like, "You gotta get rid of one or the other." And I was like, "Oh god, I don't know how to get rid of either with the way I set up the story."
Yeah. That's I considering I'm literally working on a thing that does also have two different perspective characters and is jump around does also it's I guess it's not non-linear. It is technically linear. It just takes place linearly in a different order. It's hard to explain. But is it did you write it non-linearly or did you write it in linear fashion and then mix it up?
See, that's the thing is I always have to write things in the progress that it happens in the book. Like, that's
Okay.
a weird thing about me. I cannot write out of order. If I get stuck on a scene, I'm stuck on that scene. So I wrote it non-linearly. I wrote it like chapter 1 happens in 2025, chapter 2 happens in 2017, chapter 3 happens in 2018, just random example.
Right.
Um, and so it's written like I wrote it linearly. So it's like going back and being like, well, now I have to rewrite this in a way that makes sense is a trial in itself. I have been stuck on it for probably about 2 months now. I've been very slowly walking my way through it.
Right. Is it just not clear when you're reading it? You're not sure what's happening or
Yeah, it's a lot of confusion. It's a pretty simple plot, but it's like the way the characters interact since it's not told in a linear fashion and because it jumps between two different characters, it Candace was like, "Hey, this part's not clear and this part's not really hitting the way you want it to, and like I can tell you're going for this emotion, but it's not really going."
right.
And I trust Candace with my everything. Like she's if she tells me something some way, I'm like, "Yeah, it's that way." Because she's one of those tell it how it is people.
I mean, for an editor, that's what you want.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
Yeah.
really what you want. Like I trust her with my heart and soul, you know?
I mean, you're giving your baby, so it's important that you do. Um did I mean I again in Borderline there is also kind of jumping around in time. Is it just the perspectives characters are it's not clear who's talking or who's seeing or why they're not interacting or something like that?
I think I just had, like, a looser concept in this one.
Okay,
Like,
got it.
the in Borderline, the whole concept was built around the jumping throughout time, and this
Right.
one, it's a separate concept that just so happens to be told non-linearly.
Got it. Okay. So there's no plot reason for it
Yeah.
to be okay, got it. I understand. It's also something I'm working on right now is doing that. And I'm also dealing with how the hell do I notate that and make it clear to a reader.
Yeah, the reason I'm working on game design is because I gave up on that story
Oh
for now, and I
no.
was like, "I need a different outlet for a while, and then I can come back to it later." So I decided to teach myself JavaScript.
Oh no. Not JavaScript. I've tried once and I went, nope, I'm not a there's a reason I didn't go into computer science in college. I can't do this. My brain does not I can't learn programming languages. It's really hard. I'm really thankful for all those like I don't know, video game creation software that does all that for you. I,
Yeah,
I,
I've
I've
been learning GameMaker, so I'm learning, like, JavaScript Lite, JavaScript for babies, because like,
yeah, that's
you
more
get
my
the
speed.
prompts, and then you have to learn just the script to make the prompts work.
Right. But is this typically when you if you're having trouble with the work, you'll go into like you're talking about earlier, you'll go to a different to photography, to game design,
Yeah, I
to
think it
poetry.
helps because then I can come back to it later with, like, fresh eyes and be like, "Okay, maybe, like, it'll make sense to my brain now more so than it did before."
Yeah, I mean I think sometimes people underestimate how much just letting your brain work on a entirely different thing and then coming back to a problem, how much that can help be helpful
Oh, yeah.
because you can see it. You can literally you're like, "Oh, why didn't I see this before?" Well, your brain it's like I don't know, where it comes down to like pattern recognition. Like our brains once we get used to a pattern, it's hard for us to decipher it. And when you break free of that, it often does help a lot because you just get a break. It's why I don't know. I tell people when they're even when they're just getting they finish a draft. I don't know. I tell beginning writers put it aside. Don't read it for like months. Read it longer you can, the better it will be because it will seem so new and fresh, and you can fix all the stuff. So you said it's been 2 months.
Yeah, it's been about 2 months, of me toiling with it and then giving up and then toiling with it, and for probably the past month, I haven't even looked at it.
Do you have a timeline when you'll be back? Is it when you feel? Does it feel right?
I told myself mid-December, which it kind of already is.
Yeah, Doc, you have a couple days. I
Uh,
would say.
so we'll see when I get back to it. I don't have like a time frame where I need to get it done by, so it's just
Right,
kind of whenever like it comes to me and I can get it out.
right. Is this a novel? Full novel?
Novella, it'll be
Novella?
about 30,000 words.
Okay. Hmm. That's that. I think that's somehow harder with a novella than it is a novel. Because if it's a longer length, you can kind of. I think like people can ease into that with the storytelling mode, whatever you're like you're however you're using it in this story, but when it's a shorter form, there's less time to get used to it. I don't know. I don't write novellas ever, so I don't know.
I
I
think
write
the hardest part to me, which this is another peek behind the curtain for me, I've never put more than 2 drafts into, like, the initial writing and then the 3rd draft after editing into a story, and this is already my 3rd draft, before editing.
right.
So it's cause like, Sleeping Among Wolves, that story I wrote in 25 days, I think, the entire book. And then I pushed it out there. Borderline took me like 8 months, and then I put it out there. This book has taken me about a year and a half, and it's
Hmm.
shorter than the other 2, and it's not finished, and it's like, ugh.
I mean, there's every project is different. Every project needs different. It's like there are people talk about like I don't know. I feel like this might be a little bit uh demeaning to parents, but I've heard parents say that who have a lot of kids, like they'll have 2 or 3 kids, and they'll say, "Well, not every kid needs the same thing. Some kids need more attention, right?" And it's not about fairness. It's not like giving all kids the same amount of attention. It is you have to give each kid the amount of attention they need. At least,
Yeah.
right? And so, like, I think of projects sometimes of that. It's like it's it's okay if one project, like you said, you wrote it in 25 days, and it's like, oh, it's so easy, and then you wrote it. This one's taking over a year. Well, it's like this one needs more time, and if you really love it and you want to, you can always just like say, push it aside, do another thing, and you have Canaries. Like you're still obviously still doing other projects and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
And that's the thing is that's why I pushed it off to the side for now because I'm like, I do really love this. I love the characters. I love the concept. I love the broad strokes. It's
Right.
just that I have to niche down and get the finer details in order. And I can't do that with the headset that I was in a month and a half, 2 months ago. So I was like, okay, I'll wean off for a bit.
Right. Exactly. I mean, again, if there's no deadline, there's no like it's, and you want the project to be what you want it to be. You want it to be a perfect little creation that makes sense.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Thank you.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
You can do it. I don't know. I think I feel like you have a lot of time people are like, we have these problems, but they're already like, again, we're all as writers, we're always like working through this stuff in the background anyway. It's like our brains are always working on it. We are out of time.
All right.
We're not out of time. We get, I mean, there's no podcast police. They won't tell us to, to close up shop. But
7 hours later.
yeah, I was gonna say there is a point where people are like, I don't want to hear you talk anymore. Robbie, shut up. Before we go, where can people where can they support Canaries? Where can they find your work? Where can they find you online? All that stuff.
So Canaries is on Kickstarter. Just under,
There'll be a link in the show notes.
yeah.
If you're listening to this and it comes out, which I think most people do, you have a couple days to get it out there, and it'll be on the social. I'll put it on all our social media too.
Thank you. But yeah, my main socials are Instagram. It's royalpoff.exe, and then my Facebook, which is just Royal Poff. I have other social media platforms I don't use, so there's no sense in really following me on those. Yeah, that's really it. That's the only two I really use.
And your other books are wherever books are sold.
Basically, yeah. The main two titles are on Ingram, so they can be found basically everywhere, like Barnes and Noble, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are through Amazon, so you can find them on Amazon.
There you go. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on.